Hi everyone. We're going to do number 4. They want to know which equation fits this graph, basically. And I didn't write all that out because it was really mathy. But basically, which of these equations fit the graph. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to plug it in. I'm going to test 3, 0. And when I plug in 3, does it give me 0? And clearly, it doesn't work in choices. We find the point is not on the graph for A. It doesn't work for B. And it doesn't work for D. Alright. It does look like it works for C and E, but let's see. Looking at the choices C and E, so we have C and E. For any x greater than 3, the graph of C is negative. So C can be eliminated, and the only choice we have left is E. The next one says, if f of x is 1 over 1 minus x squared, which of the following describes all the real values of x for which f of x is undefined? So basically I'm just looking at this, and I'm going to set that to 0. Because the denominator can't be 0. So we have square root of 1 minus x squared, set it to 0. And square both sides, you get 1 minus x squared equals 0. So you get x squared equals 1, so x equals plus or minus 1. So the expression under the radical is negative. So basically, we want to know for which all real values. So x can't be 1 or negative 1, and all the values in between. So if you look at it, what you might want to do is set it for less than 0, because you can't have less than 0. Under a radical, x has to be greater than 0. So let's see where it doesn't work. So we have 1 minus x squared is less than 0, so 1 is less than x squared. Or x squared is greater than 1. And in this case we have square root both sides. X is less than negative 1, or x is greater than 1. So that's where the function is undefined. So the answer is C. And we have one more. F of x is linear, and the slope of f of x is 1/2. So they want to know what the slope of f inverse is. You might think that this can't be done because it doesn't tell you exactly what the function is. It just says what the slope is, but in fact it does actually ask for the inverse function. It doesn't ask for the inverse function, it just asks for the slope. You can spot the answer immediately if you remember how slopes of inverses are related. They're reciprocals. So what would the answer be? Yeah. Okay. You can still find the answer without remembering that relationship. We know that the slope of f of x is 1/2, so we can write f of x equals 1/2 x plus b, and I'm going to go ahead and change this to y and solve for x. So you get y minus b equals 1/2 x, and multiply both sides by 2, so you get 2y minus b equals x, and then switch the x and y's. So if you switch the x and y, well, we'll go ahead and distribute and switch the x and y. So y equals 2x minus 2b. So basically, this is your inverse, and your slope is 2. So the answer is D. Okay, that's all. The next time we're going to be doing miscellaneous topics. Take care and have a nice day. Bye-bye.